So, I think everybody has a copy of what's on the agenda tonight for the Finance Committee meeting. The capital is just a recent update of what I've passed out in two previous meetings, so this is the third version. We'll start on page 2. In 2024, we're looking to buy a Jeep for the building department. Jeep Compass, most likely.
That'll replace the vehicle that Mr. Hall
Chris,
uses.
yes.
That is an old cop car that has probably already seen its useful life, but we're gonna drag another year out of it.
It's in the afterlife right now.
It's in the afterlife.
Page 3, the exercise equipment for Family Rec Center, we've decided to increase the $30,000 a year that we've had in the past, $2,500 each year for the next 5 years.
And this is just pretty much gonna be replacing equipment, right?
Oh, I can give you the whole breakdown.
Is it like a tech refresh? Is that, it's just
It
every year
is.
we chop away at it?
So literally, this is just
Fearless.
bringing it out every year more and more. Right now, it's inflation, that's why it's gotta go up each year. And then at the 10-year mark, we'll be set for a replacement on the treadmills. The treadmills were purchased in 2018, so 2026 to 2028, we will get all that set up for a 10-year replacement for those. And then subsequently, all the other equipment as well.
So what you're saying is sometimes we save this money with a purchase order.
Yeah, so we're socking,
Yeah.
we're socking
Yeah,
this
yeah.
away. Okay, so right now everything is new, right?
No, not everything.
But
A
all
couple
the-
items are.
Okay.
What
In
upgrade?
2018 is when everything was purchased.
Not brand new, but yeah, I'm talking about not 20 years old.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'll-
Everything
that
has been
kinda-
bought within the
Whoa.
last decade, right?
Yeah.
What
Okay.
upgrades does your Gator need?
The upgrades on the Gator, we're going to put a cover over it so it stays internal so we can actually use it when it's cold outside and raining.
Okay,
Yeah.
simple question, simple answer.
Yep, I got you.
Nothing with the engine.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna soup it up. Is that what you thought?
Turbo.
No.
Turbo.
No, this is to cover it.
All right, so page
It's an awesome
4,
vehicle.
fire department. I think, Chief, we've moved this is in 2025, but just want to point it out, the fire engine, we moved it up a year, I believe.
We did, and here's our dilemma. They're currently 3 years out. So we have, our new one is here in town. The dealer had some things they had to do, so it's still a month away from being in service. Once that vehicle's in service, my intention was, and I had mentioned it to the mayor, I may have mentioned it in this room, is maybe as early as next year coming forward because we're still 3 years out. The risk with that is it's 3 years right now. We sign a contract. If something changes and somehow they miraculously cut that to a year, we're still on the hook for those funds. I also don't see that happening.
Okay.
So the sooner we can get in, the better. As I stated, when that other truck was delivered, there were price increases of 25% from the time we purchased that until we took delivery. So the price is ridiculous.
Okay, thank you. And down there at the bottom of the page, currently the dry system, fire suppression is being installed. The wet system will go out to bid soon.
We're gonna do an evaluation.
Okay,
Pay for an evaluation, check the integrity. The dry system has some horrible spots, it's even worse than when they thought it was when they got in and replaced it, so we're expecting more of the same. The wet's gonna be more intrusive to city operations because it's on the first floor and just above the ceiling, so.
okay. Well, we have it designated for next year. Page 5, this City Hall, general government, IT, continuous, upgrades and maintenance and software. So that's good to have. The only other thing is the mail room, his hub as we like to call it, is scheduled to be replaced next year. And I think we added some money to the court filing system because she's going to try and go paperless wherever she can. So that's why that is there. Page 6, Police Department. We just take a big sigh after this year.
It's all good.
Not much next year.
Exactly.
But everything's good so far with what we,
Yeah, the
Just-
BAC machine is 9 months out, but we'll live through it.
just getting the equipment installed on the new vehicles is difficult.
How far are we behind?
Don't even get me started. I mean, I'll tell you, you can take a look out there, there's a lot of new cars still sitting in the back waiting to be upfitted. You know, the equipment's in, we're just, all those cars throughout the state seem to get delivered at the same time. And, I mean, even though we're on the list doesn't seem to be moving. I mean, Costello is up there twice a week saying, you know, you told me 4 weeks ago you'd be picking up a new car. This one's barely even started, what's going on? Same thing, guy can't find help. You know, he went out on maternity leave, his wife had their first baby. It's
Oh,
just,
jeez.
and they're inundated. I mean, they have a waiting list, probably 300 cars being so,
Well,
yeah.
I'm in the wrong
and
business.
that's all,
And it is, yeah, and we are in the wrong business because they are literally the only game in town anymore.
what about, the guy from Maple Heights?
They won't
That's-
even give a bid, neither will, what is it, Fallsway? They won't even give a bid either. And B&C said, nope, we're too busy with other stuff, we're not bidding either.
Can any of that be done by our service department? Like the
You know,
lesser stuff?
I tease Costello, because before I was a cop, I was an auto mechanic.
Yeah.
I told him, if I take one car apart, I can put it back together. But literally, if you watch them do it, they literally rip the car to pieces.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. I was just thinking like the simple stuff, like the push bump.
Yeah, those kind of things, yeah, that's not the problem. You know, and now with the core system, it literally, we were talking about this the other day. The system is set up that we purchased through Wayland to sync eventually with the traffic lights. Literally, if I have my left turn signal on, it's gonna give me the left arrow through GPS. I mean, it's all, and it's integrated. If I go to back up another cruiser on the traffic stop, it automatically shuts off the back of his light bar and turns on the back of mine.
No
So it's
kidding.
not blinding me. I mean,
Nice.
it's a lot to the car and setup. It's not like the old days where we're gonna wire to the battery, with the switch that turns on the light.
And 6 months down the line, it's underneath your feet, worn through the car mat.
The future is now.
Yep.
One nice thing to point out with fire and police, we are setting aside $15,000 a year in each department for 911 system upgrades.
Yeah, I was wondering
Yeah.
what that was. So our system is upgraded to now, and then we anticipate maybe in
So
5
I'll create
years.
purchase orders, and then when they need an upgrade, we'll have some money set aside for
Excellent.
upgrades.
Great.
Page 7, Parks and Rec. Ball field lighting, we're gonna start putting some money aside for field A or D.
Do you anticipate 400,000 for
Well,
lights for
there's,
one?
there's 2 fields left.
Right.
Uh,
So it's 400,000 for both.
No.
No, we have to get new electric run out there, we're out.
Yeah. I remember hearing
400,000
about
for
that.
one
The
ball.
original run was for the back two, correct, Jason?
It'll serve two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me repeat it. We need a new run done that will serve 2 more fields plus additional stuff.
But the original was just the rear 2 fields, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trails, I think we talked about, we've increased the 100,000 to 200,000, and Jason and the mayor in our staff meeting yesterday mentioned that when they went for the awards, that some ODNR people were there, and they were able to network and maybe
Get a little closer to that grant.
get a little closer to a grant.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a good
They
possibility.
seemed
you guys-
excited about it, so.
That would be nice.
Excellent,
If we
yeah.
can get somebody else's money.
Yeah, I mean, they tried, it didn't go through, and now they have the experience of having written it once, and then networking on top of that,
Mhm.
so you have a very good chance this
Yeah,
time,
so if,
they'll keep working on
yeah,
it.
if the grant ends up, reducing any of this 200,000, that'd be great. The other large item next year is the Longwood North, 3 fields, soccer fields, football/soccer fields. And now that flag football is gonna be a Olympic sport in 2028.
We're already talking about adult flag football here now.
Okay.
Yeah,
What about pickleball?
we're talking about adult flag football here.
And that
Sports
question,
played on grass.
that question doesn't get asked often unless doesn't matter. I can get that out.
Next up.
If the guy with the money can't make it happen,
I
it's
know,
not gonna
I
happen.
know. I just go elsewhere.
Let's word that way.
Glenn Willow's building too.
Are they really?
Guy with the money, yeah.
Alright.
So service department, page 8. Dan and I sat down again since our last meeting, and moved some money to be able to get 2 more leaf vacs next year, on top of what we had approved or planning to order this year, right?
Right.
So we'll have 4
4.
total between this year and next year
Mhm.
ordered?
We have 4.
And then they'll be
We
replacing
work
all
with
4?
now, so
Yeah.
that'll be.
Or maybe 6?
Well, 4 is cool.
I will
Yeah.
probably still have it 4, but they're all 4 really old.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, yeah, they're all 4 well over 10 years and they need to be replaced. So
Might keep one of those old ones as
we
a
might
backup
keep
if we
maybe the
can.
best one because it doesn't hurt to have an extra machine.
Everything else is, on schedule for replacements, pickups, single axle dumps. We are getting a utility maintenance vehicle that'll replace the old ambulance.
Yes. Yeah, we've looked at several different options. We took a trip down to Fallsway even to look at some different options, and the guys have looked at what they want. What they really want is an ambulance. No matter what you try to tell them, they love it. They love that thing, but we're going to kick them out of it because
It's creepy.
Dan, sorry to interrupt. You
We're
do
not
have an
taking-
option.
we're not taking
You can-
your other crappy ambulance.
You can retract chassis it. If that's what they really want, you can't afford to buy an ambulance, you could rechassis it.
Well, I think we found a good alternative, something that's a utility truck that's height-wise tall enough. They can walk in, that there's a workbench, there's all the storage for their tools. That's their concern, and I think Fallsway has found that. And they can put it on a platform on a chassis that we like, it's a dually truck, probably like an F-550 or something like, or a 5500 Dodge. To keep the mayor. Yeah, so, yeah.
I saw the face when he said
Stick with Dodge.
Can't fit a cot in it anymore, can you?
No.
Yeah, okay. Page 9, which is on the back of page 8. Heat pumps, we added some money in 2024 for this building, because all the balance of the American Recovery Act money is going towards the Family Rec Center. So not saying that we're gonna need the 130 this year, I'm sorry, in 2024 and in 2025, but hopefully it, I know. But there has to be an end to that at some point.
They have to be all fixed at
As
some
we keep
point?
replacing them. But the guys have been doing a good job.
I mean, we are close.
Yeah.
There's like 27 months in this building.
Yeah.
And, we're within a couple
Yeah.
that need replaced.
Right.
So, we are getting there, and you have to realize, like, they're close to 30 years old, and everything's hitting at once. It's just really, I know we've all said it, we're all repeating ourselves, but that's how it is in this building. Everything, the wet and dry systems, and all
Well, even
heat
the
pumps.
flooring, you've seen, they made improvements on the flooring and the window shades. So, all good stuff that we're able to do. Page 10 is the Family Rec Center. It'll be year 2 of 2 for the changing room and pool deck. We're setting money aside for upgrading the parking lot lights. So it'll be year 2 of 3 for that. you see the highlighted large dollars for the HVAC system. Down below, the service department building,
What's the road for 442?
that's the balance of
The HVAC.
the HVAC.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
there was no text on the map.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it just kind of carried
I get
down.
it.
And
Okay.
that's actually, we're paying cash, so that's
Yes.
another good thing. We
It
don't
got
have
split
to,
out into two different
calendar
accounts.
years.
Accounts.
Oh, and two.
yeah, two
accounts.
different accounts. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because the one account, the 266, is just for that ARP money, American Recovery Plan Act
okay.
money. So that's a good thing, we don't have to borrow money to finish off that project.
Okay, can we go up a little, back up a little further? How realistic is this splash pad all that I just noticed in here?
It's been in there for a while.
It's been in there for a while, it's
It's
just
been out-
out there.
way out there.
Yeah, 2026.
Yeah. That's for further discussion.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
wondered, I
The
never caught that before for some reason.
the HVAC has definitely been a pressing need sooner.
Oh,
It's one of
yeah.
the- and the costs kept going up and up and up, so
Right.
it would be really a bad idea to throw in a splash pad when we
Oh,
can't
no,
get heated
I
floors.
understand that, but
Yeah.
like I said, for the first time in a while that I've seen that actually.
Hopefully, a
Document.
grant will replace the 200 we set aside for trails, and maybe a splash pad. will
Yeah,
be-
splash pad will come a little sooner.
Does that topic come up at the rec meetings that you have?
Not, probably once a year, we
Okay.
discuss it.
Comes up in the public often.
Yeah.
Comes up quite often in the public.
Yeah.
I think the
It's
other option
between
is,
having a splash pad and a pool.
Cool.
if
The
you could,
original design, phase 2 is a pool.
Okay.
but if we can find an opportunity to put one, we can look for a grant for those two.
Jan, do you recall what year that was stated? Because I hear all the time that you told us we were getting a pool, and I wasn't around for that. Do you remember when that was?
It was when it was first established. The first plan was created and then phase 2 was designed and created and released upon payment in full of phase 1. That's why the windows on the indoor pool, that's why that's that way,
Oh.
because then that would allow the ability to get to the outdoor.
Do you remember
Do we
why
have-
the community?
So we're talking what, like 2004, 5?
The historian over there might know. He's not listening.
At Shepherd.
The rec center, I would hope, kept the
YMCA
plans.
has a big sign.
I don't know.
With one of those
Do you have the
surrounders where
plans?
they reached their goal. For
They were
5
filed
years
with the rec
before they
center.
were promised the rec center.
Phase
pool,
1,
YMCA
phase 2.
collected money from the public saying they were putting in a pool. And then the community was up in arms because, well, the rec center's building a pool, we're not putting in one, and they kept the money. And it was a lot. So, and then when the rec center thing didn't come to fruition, people felt it was the YMCA
See it.
YMCA.
all over again. And people were up in arms, they're cheating us like the YMCA did.
No.
So
Okay.
to answer your question, yes, I do have some old pictures of it. It has also been thoroughly explained to me, it was never promised that there'd be a pool.
It was part of the,
Yeah.
I'm just saying what's been expressed to me.
It was part of the
before, that
campaign.
There was never a promise.
It was part of the campaign, but I know John and I have done some research in it. We can't find anything in any of the records.
Somebody must have
that-
tossed it.
There's nothing
It was there.
official.
But how can you promise something that you didn't fund, that you're promising would come 20 years later?
So it seems
no
like,
source of funding.
if nothing else, it was a promise to go back to the voters for phase 2, once the building is paid off.
Exactly.
See if we can get a pool. That's what we did,
Yeah.
and
twice.
and it was voted no.
Right, yes,
So,
twice.
so everybody thinks that there was like money put aside in 2000 to
Right.
build a pool. The money was burned in an oil bin outside, and that was it. But
There's no evidence of that.
that's not what happened. It
It's
just
state PA rules, isn't it, chief?
And not to go off the rails completely, but Jason, if we put that pool in, what were the estimates we were talking, like 20 million?
Oh,
Yeah, so here's what I would love to do for you guys, to make this all very, very simple. And I told PRC if you guys ever brought this up again, I would say this, so I'm holding to my word. I would love to just go get you guys a quote for the type of pool I'm telling you as the Parks and Rec director we would need. And I'm telling you, it would have to blow Twinsburg out of the water, pun intended. It would have to. And we're talking $20 million or more for 3 months of operation a year. Probably not even 3 months. It'd probably be 10 weeks a year. And I will also bring you the numbers for a splash pad. There's 2 ways to do a splash pad. You can recirculate the water, or you can have a pass-through water. If you do the pass-through water, then I have to work with Cleveland Water to get actual numbers for what it's gonna cost to fire that water through right into the sewer line. So I'm more than happy to bring all of those numbers to the table for you guys. I will not make the decision between a pool and a splash pad or nothing. I'm not making that decision, you guys can
No, it
make
should
that
go to the
decision.
Parks and Rec Committee, which has started this. It was a committee
Yeah, so I can
of
tell you though.
residents who decided what they wanted to move forward with, what would be put on the ballot.
Don't
It
give-
was all
yeah.
residents.
And even a splash pad at this point is gonna cost $800,000.
Would,
And
so
you
I,
have to determine, do we really want our money going to that, or do we want it going to
do
something
you
else?
think it could be done that inexpensively? Because I could have swore I was looking into the numbers with Aurora and I thought they were way more than that, like in the millions.
They're not in the
First
millions.
splash pad?
Yeah, they're up high, but they're not in the
Really?
millions.
I thought it, for some reason I thought it was a really astronomical number. But
They
my
might have
other-
had to do some extra work, but, because I actually talked to people that did that.
And I know we don't have a lot of time, so I just have a real quick
Yeah.
question. Can you do what you just suggested without incurring a lot of cost? Like, we don't have to go out and hire architects.
No, like, I won't go out, like, to a true bid process or anything like that.
You just
Like, I
get
have-
quoting and-
I have like 3 different consultants I've talked to about
I
this kind of
personally
stuff.
would really like it if you could do that and bring it back to council and then council
Yeah.
can give it to the PRC.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to, like, I'd rather just go that route at this point. In 2026, we can talk about if anything makes sense or not. So at some point, we're gonna have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Do we wanna put, let's call it, because I'll tell you right now, that 500,000 number is probably up to at least, that was for something very, very generic and
Right.
small. 800,000 to $1 million is also what we probably need to get to, which is why, with JV saying, hey, if we can save some money by the trail grants, that could help us maybe siphon some in a different direction.
And I-
Even to go that route though, we have to make a choice as a city. Do you want to spend 800,000 to $1 million for something 10 weeks a year to 12 weeks a year?
Right.
Versus what else could that go towards?
The Parks and Rec Commission is not on board with the pool. Yeah, we've talked about it. No one is
They changed
interested
from
in,
pool to splash pad,
we've talked
back
about that,
to pool,
but
back to splash
But
pad. It
was-
keeps going back and
Was
forth.
the athletic facility part of phase 2 or is that phase 3? Because there was in there too.
Basketball, pool,
Courts.
which was the athletic, which was mostly gonna be,
Was
I
that-
believe that was phase 3.
Okay. Because I remember that's part of this too.
But
Right.
the
Yes.
residents turned down phase 2s.
My only other addition to
Should
that,
bypass phase 2, build phase 3.
my request for you though, when you do all that digging, Jason, is if you don't mind, can you see what other communities have done with grants? Because I believe communities like Broadview Heights or one in that area got a grant from the state of Ohio to either pay for a lot of their splash pad or all of it.
Sure.
And
yeah,
that would obviously.
Broadview definitely did.
They
We're
did.
friends with the director there, so I'll just email her.
Yeah.
And it's been a while. I
Now,
took my
actually.
grandson to that thing years ago.
Yeah.
They
And
have
that
a
could
concession stand
offset.
and everything.
I'll just email her now.
Okay.
And ask. We're friends.
All right, we got 5 minutes.
Sorry,
Okay.
I need to take us off track.
All right, so then, the service department building's on here. We're currently going through, the criteria architect, so we'll get better numbers as we move forward.
You said the 5 million?
Yeah, with that number,
What's the anticipated annual fee? Because you're saying you're gonna borrow it. What annually would we have to pay?
you mean, it depends if we want to do interest only for a couple of years or interest and part of principal.
Yeah, if you could just let us know
Yeah.
the anticipated, because that is a major impact on
Yeah.
our budget.
No, for sure.
But that's coming out of the safety services fund that we've talked about before. And just to bring you out to a little bit of speed, I know we're tight on time. What we're looking at, the numbers that you see in front of you are about what it's gonna cost. That's where we're at in terms of the facility.
Well, that's the cost, but I wanna know what the annual is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the overall cost I wanna
Because
illustrate
at this point in
too.
time,
So now it's up
you're
to
not gonna
about
get any
10.
tax increases from anybody.
No,
We're not asking for
no,
that.
we're not.
Not with
That intention's
them
never been out
denying
there.
anybody's
And the
real
intention,
estate.
yeah. And the intention would be to keep it short-term rollover annually.
I'm not asking council to go back to the voters at all.
Page 11, streets, we have our road program up top. We have Highland Valley View continuing the design, engineering, and right-of-way acquisition in 2024 with anticipated construction in 2025. Joey's done a good job getting grant money, and he's still gonna be seeking additional grant money on this intersection in improvement. Time will tell, but we've had a good track record, no pressure. But, good track record. Walters Road next year, which will split with Northfield Center Township. And we have it on the plan, but we might not do it next year. Longwood Park Drive drainage and extension, depending on the conditions, once engineering gets a chance to review the current conditions of the drive.
Weren't you looking to do stuff at Sugar Bush with the Sugar Bush driveway and parking? Or is that not on the table yet?
It's on our list too. We're
Okay.
building up to it. We're trying to get rid of the trees first.
Yeah.
Let me
Okay.
rephrase that. We're trying to get rid of the dead trees first.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
You better be careful.
Yeah.
We also at some point look at Shepherd and 82.
Shepherd and
There's no turn signals, the place is, it goes from 2 lanes down to 1, it's become, with the amount of traffic on Shepherd.
Okay. So that's it for streets.
So that would be
Last page is storm sewer improvements, and
turn signal.
large project next year is Valley View drainage improvements.
And that poor lady's house
What's
is
the
one.
GIS infrastructure?
Joey?
I'm sorry.
GIS infrastructure.
Is that us paying to have stuff mapped, or are we buying like servers and hardware?
Yeah, that's us creating the map and the platform and entering all the data.
So the county doesn't do that county-wide?
They don't do it at the local level.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that wraps up your 5-year plan. The debt schedule, real quick, nothing new from a bonding standpoint. We did add on page 2. Is it page 2?
No, there was only one page.
Oh, one page, because this is the only page that changed.
Okay.
With the leases for the 5 vehicles, or 15 vehicles, 3 different leases, sorry, for the police
Do our
department.
interest rates fluctuate with the market, or are these bonds?
These lease agreements were locked in a little bit earlier in the year, which is a good thing. And we're earning money on the money that hasn't been spent yet, like money we're waiting on, to pay off the engine or the ambulance or upgrades to the vehicles.
Yeah, we are. That rolls
Thank
us
you,
in.
Mr. Veras. I appreciate all that you put into this and made it comprehensible.
Yeah, sorry I
Got
had
it in 28 minutes. That was impressive with
Yeah.
all our questions.
So we'll have an hour for the next 2,
I don't know.
if needed, 45
If needed,
minutes.
yeah. Next one will be operating,
Okay,
and then we can leave December open for whatever
okay.
we want to revisit. But I can tell you now, operating is pretty much what we
Same
have
cookie
now.
cutter, yeah.
And
Okay,
plus,
so there will be another finance committee meeting on,
November
November meeting. Yep. What time?
9th, I think.
Yes.
How long do you want that to be, John?
Well, I mean, we have our staffing pretty much full staff, except for police.
We'll talk about that later. in the meeting.
Okay. So it's wages, so it's not a lot of additional manpower, it's just our increases and our health increase, so.
Do you want to just do a half hour?
Yeah, I think that would be good, and then we'll leave December open for any open items.
Okay.
half hour before the work session.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the work session now that you mention it.
Okay.
Ordinance, and we got more stuff from Mr. Veras here.
Oh, boy.
94, the amendments.
That's, hopefully, 4th and last.
Yeah, that's pretty great if it's
Yeah.
just 4.
In my memo, I did mention I had moved money around within the general fund, but did not increase the general fund. There were a few increases in streets because of, finally, we were able to find some new hires, and we're at a level now where I think you mentioned you were close to being good, I think, fully staffed.
Is that a term you got? That you have?
Apparently, apparently I said that in the meeting.
In a staff
I like
meeting.
The
that.
police department doesn't like them to use that.
That's
The
right.
PD got,
They're a little sensitive to it.
They
yeah,
are.
sensitive
I
is
think
a
I
good
just
word.
said unfortunately, we're not fully staffed.
I
Uh-huh.
believe there was a sensitivity.
All these
to that.
explanations on the sidebar.
Little buffer.
We're fully staffed.
Oh, fire's fully staffed?
It's an HR term.
So,
In family rec,
Mark's
additional
writing that
hires,
down.
and you're fully staffed.
On the record.
Except for your lifeguards, you
That's
were
it,
saying.
except for lifeguards.
Part-time staff is.
I'm sorry.
so we had 800,000 estimated interest income?
Yes,
That's pretty awesome.
that is pretty awesome.
Is that something you look to happen every year, or is it just because of the POs that we had open?
No,
this
no,
year?
no. Well, it's definitely a product of the economy and the increase in interest rates.
So it's not the money from the barrel that,
Yeah, it's not the money
No.
that we
didn't-
found.
No, it was that money,
didn't.
no.
Buried
It wasn't-
underneath
it
the
was
rec
not
center?
the- It was
Yeah.
not the future swimming
It is
pool
in the
money.
elevator shaft.
So it all depends on the market, but we are, to the benefit of having money in the bank in excess of $10 million that we're earning, 5% on.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
me too.
Who doesn't like interest?
And small changes to capital improvements, road program. I actually reduced the municipal property fund because, of the timing it took to get everything finished, and the majority of the work on ended up happening in 2024.
Do you have any surprises with the TIF funds, or is everything pretty much how you?
One surprise was the avenue. You'll see that the net receipt for the avenue was $200.
Yeah.
That was a result of reappraisal and them fighting.
Oh yeah.
So they went back a couple of years, and so we'll see what happens going forward. But we have, now starting to collect on clean land and Ohio State waterproofing. We have the wave car wash, which is approved, and hopefully start collecting next year. The JED money, I had to increase that because of net profits. And that's about it. For
So
a
what
change.
is, so you removed the grant for Tanglewood project?
Yeah,
Iroquois project? Oh, because it won't be till, we won't get it
We
till
won't get the
2024.
money until,
Gotcha.
so I had to increase transfers in so we can encumber the funds. But we'll get the money next year.
So it's in there, just. for bookkeeping.
Tanglewood's waiting on a couple months before we could begin the work.
so with the transfers in, transfers out,
Mhm.
what's the bottom line net carryover? None.
Projected carryover into next
Yeah.
year is 4.3 million in the general fund.
Should be 12.
Well, I'm not adding the extra million we have in emergency reserve, which we threw 400,000 towards it this year instead of 100. So that's 5.3. Plus, we do have a retirement reserve and our refund
Can't touch
program.
that, though.
No,
Can't
but,
count that.
well, at least we have one.
Well,
A lot of
that's just,
communities don't.
that's just 4.3 in the general fund.
Right.
Overall, it's 10.2.
Well, if you look at my one-page summary, since we're talking about it, at the top of the one-page summary, you'll see funds 101 to 106, which the auditors refer to as the general fund. They group it together because
The retirement.
they allow us to designate retirement reserve and refund program and technology advancement and rainy day fund, but when they report it, they report those 5 together. So we're estimating to have at the end of the year $6 million. in our general fund as the auditors reported.
All right, let's do 1, 2, 3 on this so we can get this through and decided. Thank you, Mr. Veras.
Sure.
And then number 5, 95 will just be introducing the budget
Yeah,
on the first read there.
and we could take a deeper dive at the next finance meeting.
Number 96, since Dave isn't here, Jeff, will you please take that and I'll second it? So this is just, we're putting a fire truck out for, an ambulance out for auction. No big deal.
21 years old.
Why don't we give it to the service department?
They don't want it, Dan doesn't want it.
It doesn't ride nice.
No, it doesn't.
They want something cushy. All right, any questions on that then? Let's do that 1, 2, 3 so they can get that rolled out. Anything else? We're not doing the swearing in? I saw you already did that. You're not doing it at this meeting.
That's gonna be the next meeting.
Next meeting?
I think, one could make it now. They voted actually to do it before the meeting, because the mayor and I discussed it, and said whatever they wanna do. They were hoping before the meeting. I'll talk to them tomorrow, because we'll probably do it at the beginning of the meeting, since there's a finance meeting.
Well, we could plan 5 minutes to be not actually on the floor if you're okay with that, just to do it. It's more for their families and stuff. It's more of a.
But I mean, the finance meeting doesn't have anything to do with it. We would still go out there at 7:30 and swear them in.
The mayor had left with them, do they wanna do it before the meeting starts, or during the meeting? And they voted before, so we're gonna do it like 7 o'clock or whatever.
Okay.
So they want like an empty room, is what you're saying?
But I think since there's a finance meeting and they know that, they may do it at the start of the council meeting, and just fine.
Yeah,
Let
okay.
me get back to you guys, I'll send you,
Yeah, they're really.
Yeah, whatever they want.
And again, we don't normally do that. We know we stopped doing that, but this is kind of these are big
Yeah.
promotions and.
We really just stopped doing it as a matter of us voting on it. Like I don't
Right,
want to
it was
be,
a
I don't want to
lot.
be voting on whether or not a sergeant gets, you
It
know,
was a lot.
gets
It consumed
Yeah.
an enormous amount of time, and even for like.
We decided that we have no business after they've been vetted twice already by the department head and the administration.
Yeah.
But
But
we
I
should have
welcome
any
the-
say-so.
Yeah, we can do
Welcome
this,
to
we can do the ceremony all we want. We'll
Yeah.
recognize anyone who wants to be recognized, so, within reason.
I was gonna say, maybe, watch it.
Good job.
You'll be fully staffed after the swearing?
All right. Anything else, folks? Oh, yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
I started writing this and I ran it by Council President Brandt and Law Director. This is a synopsis of the 3 issues that we put on the ballot. Everybody should have a copy if they want one. It's helpful if you want to explain it to residents that ask you, and you already voted. But I believe that Christie may have put this on the website, or she's about to, or?
I think Gabe and you, 2 of you are working out some details.
Yeah.
because you were working with a Mac, I believe.
Yeah. So I actually forgot to mention that the council clerk, I forwarded him a copy, and both John and Christie actually started providing some corrections to one of the paragraphs to make it read cleaner. That was much
Jeff, just say you
appreciated.
wrote it and it's awesome.
I actually don't
Come on,
think
have
I've
some
written
confidence,
it.
dude.
I don't think one sentence of this is mine anymore.
AI wrote it.
You managed it
But
into existence.
It's out there, and you guys should all have a copy. So we'll get it.
Just, so the city cannot tell residents or urge residents to vote one way or another. Council as a body can't, but you as a council member are free to, you know, let people know however you want. If someone asks you, you can't be like, I can't tell you how to vote. I'm telling people how to vote. So just so you guys know, but this is a good guide. You can help them at least explain it to them. All right, let's get moving. Thank you,
Explain it
folks.
to a lot of people.
On there for discussion purposes.
Let's do it.
Talk to my phone.
compassion, and the pursuit of the common good. May our deliberations be marked by wisdom and empathy, ensuring that the choices we make reflect the best interest for all those we represent. Let us remember that, in unity, we can address the challenges that face our city and pave the way for a brighter future for all. As we begin this city council meeting, let us pause for a moment of reflection and center ourselves in the spirit of cooperation and community. May we be reminded of the diversity that enriches our city and embraces it as a source of strength. Let our decisions be driven by a shared commitment to equity and fairness, striving to uplift the marginalized and vulnerable among us. We ask for guidance in our work that may be instruments of positive change, fostering unity and promoting prosperity for all who call the city their home. With open hearts and open minds, may our collective efforts today contribute to the betterment of our beloved community. Amen. Now with hand over heart, please join me in our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Appreciate it. Okay, next on our agenda is the approval of minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the Thursday, October 12th, 2023 regular council meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public comments? I don't see any this evening.
Nope.
Correspondence from the clerk.
No, sir.
Okay, pending new legislation, starting with ordinance number 94.
Yes, I offer ordinance number 94, 2023 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 67, 2022, relative to current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Macedonia for the period of January 1, 2023 to December 31st, 2023.
Director Veras.
Thank you, Mayor. This hopefully is our fourth and final amendment for 2023. Made some changes to estimated resources. Happy to report increased our interest income estimate to $800,000 for the year. Had to move some money around, transfer some money into some funds for grants that we will not be receiving by the end of the year, so we have to cover the appropriation. And pushed a borrowing for our service center into next year because most of the heavy work will be done next year. End of my report.
Thank you.
For this.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move to adopt ordinance number 94, 2023 and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 94 carries. Ordinance number 95.
Yes, I offer ordinance number 95, 2023 for its first reading only by title only.
An ordinance providing for the 2024 annual appropriations for the city of Macedonia, Ohio.
Director Veras.
Thank you, Mayor. This is on first reading. Again, I appreciate council and department heads, the mayor, everybody being, online with making sure we pass our annual budget, hopefully by January 1st. So this is the first step. We had a finance committee meeting before this meeting to talk about the capital improvements and debt as a part of the 2024 annual budget. Next meeting in November, we'll talk about our operating budget, and we'll leave December We'll leave time in December before the council meeting to discuss any open items regarding the 2024 annual budget.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Moving on to Resolution 96.
Mayor, I'd like to offer Resolution 96, 2023 for its first, second,
Not
and
this
third reading by title only.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution authorizing the disposition of certain municipal property by the City of Macedonia Fire Department in accordance with City of Macedonia Codified Ordinance Section 121.05 and Ohio Revised Code Section 721.15.
Chief Ripley.
This is the selling of a 2002 ambulance. It's no longer used by us. Somewhere around 165,000. We got a lot of use out of it. It served us well, but it's time for it to leave.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I'd like to offer Resolution 96, 2023 and pass and post the same according to law.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 96 carries. Are there any other motions or legislative actions?
I'd like to make a motion to wish HR Director Smith a very, very happy birthday today.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any other motions or legislative actions? Hearing none, we'll move into the mayor's report. I will start with happy birthday, Director Smith. You stole it from me, I want to hit it first. Something tells me we'll hear this again, I don't know. But I was looking back, there was a Facebook memory that popped up, and I happened to look at it, and it was from October 22nd, 2015. You have to excuse me, water went down the wrong pipe earlier. But in that meeting, Macedonia was in some very tough, tumultuous times, and, you know, I would be sitting one seat over with Mrs. Tully here, and we went through an awful lot to get to where we're at today. And the reason I bring it up today is because I'm very proud of where we've come. This is not tooting a horn. This is more of proud for our community, proud of how we got here and the difficult times that we went through to get to where we're at today. But as I watched that video, there were some people in there that I want to recognize because unfortunately some of these folks have passed away, and I want to recognize them because they were great people. Roy Metzel was here. He always came up, was always a guy that, you know, would make you smile, because when he came up to that podium, if you didn't get a laugh out of what that gentleman had to say, then that was on you, because he was a great guy that he always put a smile on your face. So
He loved Macedonia.
he loved it more than probably I do, you do, Jay, all of us sitting up there. I mean, the guy was just a very proud member of our community. Mike Kronjak, who always sat right there next to the watchdog. If you've been in this community long enough, you know those two. Their nameplates are on both of those chairs. I could tell you that Chuck was a unique guy. He kept everyone on their toes. Whether or not what he was saying was true or false or just his angst for the day didn't really matter, because Chuck was going to make you know what he wanted to say. You know, and I missed the guy because I appreciated that. I miss them both. They were both great guys, and Mike Kronjak was a war hero. I don't think many people know. I think Chief Tim Black took him on the Heroes flight. Maybe Chief here can talk about that a little bit. But what a great guy. And I remember him telling me that he was training or in the Army or for something, and he was boxing with Rocky Marciano. And he said he sparred with him. He didn't actually have a fight with him, but he sparred with Rocky Marciano. I thought to myself, wow, that's amazing. And he talked about some of his war stuff, which getting that out of people that, you know, have been in combat is very, very rare. But the stories that man told will live with me forever, because it was amazing. Chief, do you remember anything that I'm missing with him?
I remember him being a Silver Star winner from World War II. I don't remember where. I know I was told where that occurred. And this trip was funded through the Firefighters Association, and we drove him to the airport in a piece of flare apparatus. It was a vehicle, a staff vehicle. And he talked about that the rest of his life. It had such an impact on him. It was something to see. And all those people you mentioned were unique individuals that were here as long as me, so that's a long time.
And didn't he remember him serving with a famous general from World War II, and it's slipping my mind, and I should have had this prepared, but he marched into one of Hitler's palaces with this famous general, and I remember him telling me the story, and I'm going, wait, what? You did what? I mean, just an amazing guy, and I miss them both. They're great people, and I believe he lived pretty well into his 90s, didn't he? I believe he was
Yeah, say 91-ish.
a great guy. Another one that was at that meeting was Paul Susak, another great guy that loved our community, and, you know, him and I resonated because he was a car guy. I always saw him at car shows, and he was a Mopar freak like me, so we naturally gravitated to each other.
And a firefighter.
But in that meeting also, it's actually still sitting here, so if you don't mind me grabbing this. I remember Mayor Cook holding up this piece of rock right here and saying, our roads are in horrible, horrible disrepair, and we have to do something now. And unfortunately, Mrs. Tully and I were in full favor of going to the voters and saying, we need to do something to fix this problem. And the three people on the other end, I'm not dogging them in any way, were against it at that time. Could you imagine if we didn't get to the point where we're at today, where we didn't fix these 95 roads? Are we at, Joe?
93?
It doesn't matter, we're over 90 roads.
It's over 90.
Repaired, but Mayor Cook held this rock up, and I'll never forget that. And seeing in that meeting kind of gave me the chills because it kicked off where we're at today. And it meant a lot to me to see that and, you know, be able to carry that through the vision that he had to get us where we're at today. So I thank the voters for passing that levy because, my God, could you imagine?
Yep.
Another person at that meeting that just passed away recently was Dan Havlicek. Love him or hate him, didn't matter. I could tell you that man either got under your skin or you loved him. I mean, it was one of those types of people that, again, it was weird to retrace my memories and my thoughts of all the people from that time. So if you ever have a chance, they're all on YouTube. You can check them out. But I'm happy where we're at today. I'm not one to normally look in the rearview mirror. I'm looking out the windshield, and that's where I want to continue to look. But it's also nice sometimes to remind myself of where we were and where we're at today and how we got there. So I hope we're blazing a path for people that'll be here beyond us to continue on these great things that we're doing. But it was pretty neat to see all those faces that, you know, meant a lot to me. The new service building I want to touch on very briefly. We're working on it. We're working with the criteria architect. There's a lot of different plans. Every day changes. There'll be more to come on that in the future. We'll communicate obviously to council first and then back out to the public. But we're kind of in the initial phase of the design of what we're going to do. And that's really where I want to leave it right now because there's an awful lot that goes into that. So just know that you're not being held out of things. We're just working on where we're headed forward with that. I want to thank everyone that participated in the Bud's Trick or Treat, specifically Councilor President Brandt here, who did a majority of the work and always has great costumes and really comes out of her shell and does an awful lot. And the whole shtick, she held her character the whole time, even when she was talking to me, which was kind of weird. She didn't break character at all, which was odd.
I was going to wear my teeth today.
But I appreciate what you do, and if you don't know what the Buds program, it's for, you know, children with like disabilities or children that are special, and they do a nice thing. Then other children are allowed to come there and trick or treat, but they go around the track at the high school, and a lot of people volunteer their time, including us, those that were there, Director Wilson, President Brandt, and I, and Mr. Ventura.
Mrs. Tully gave some candy.
And Mrs. Tully gave candy. But it's the participation that means a lot, so I thank you all for doing it, and I'm sure the children definitely appreciate that.
Why didn't you wear your costume today?
I thought about it. I wore the shirt.
Which leads me to my next piece is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I was talking to one of our employees, Lisa Hamrick. She works in our finance department, an amazing lady that actually beat cancer, breast cancer. And I want to bring her up today because that poor lady went through an awful lot to get there. And, you know, it's tough for me, and I don't generally talk about this a lot because I tend to get a little emotional. I'm going to try not to do that today. But I lost my aunt. Deep breath. Good. Sorry. I apologize, but I lost her to that terrible disease. Chief Ripley lost his wife to it. It's hard. So, those of you that supported it today, thank you. We've done a lot. We've raised a lot of money. I want to thank Director Smith over here for everything she did. I mean, what's the number we're at so far?
We're very close to $600 in less than 48 hours.
That's awesome. Anything we could do to help. Yeah, I'm very proud of that. These T-shirts, they got together pretty quickly, and I believe you worked with Sherry Kuzma too.
Yes.
So I want to make sure I give her,
Village.
and we got a whole table of stuff out there that it's amazing. So thank you very, very much. Can't say much more than
That's
that.
all.
Last but not least, please don't drive distracted. Put down the phones, drive your car.
Mayor, when's Halloween? You might want to.
Halloween is on October 31st from 6 to 8. It will always be on October 31st from 6 to 8.
When's trick or treating?
Well, trick or treat's on October 31st from 6 to 8.
Yeah, we're staying with the traditional date. If you look in the paper, they had all the communities, and they were all over the board,
Yeah.
with very few actually on Halloween.
And just to be clear, I did talk with our neighboring communities. We had reached out to all the neighbors of the Nardonia communities. We put it out on our social media and our website because the only variance in there is Northfield Village. I think they're doing it on Sunday, but check our social media or our website because it illustrates that. Because I want to make sure, because there's always that confusion. If there's one doing it on a different day or time, it tends to throw everybody off. Halloween trick or treat, October 31st, 6 to 8. Macedonia will always be that way. That's it. Okay, committee reports.
Parks and Rec Commission had our October meeting on Monday, the 16th. We welcomed Director Chaddock back from the NRPA Awards. Won't mention anything about it, I'll let you do all the talking about it. But we talked about already getting ready to prepare for the award next year and what they can do to get a little higher up in the standings. And it's great because all the things that they learned there and all the things that they can do to get the award is nothing but amazing stuff for the people of Macedonia. It's not just to get an award. Anything that they do or talk about or ideas they come up with will be great for the city. The parks is always doing so much maintenance in the fall and in the spring and the summer, so we talked a lot about that and getting ready for all the great stuff that they're doing with their fall sports and how well the signups have done for those, and they're busting their records every year, so we're quite pleased. Our next meeting will be the third Wednesday in November. That will be the final meeting for the year. We won't have a meeting in in December, so we'll see everyone in November that wants to come to that open public meeting. That's the end of my report.
Thank you.
The JED will be having a meeting sometime in November, the date and time to be determined yet, and that is the Joint Economic Development District. It's also a public meeting if you want to attend. Also on November 9th, the next council meeting will also have another Finance Committee meeting, a half hour before the work session. End of report.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Hearing none, we'll move into department reports, starting with Director Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to say congratulations to a couple of our newer employees who recently earned their Class A CDLs, Mark Vergara and Brian James. They, we send them to school and it's kind of overlooked, but they put a lot of work into that. The federal law changed almost 2 years ago now, and it's way more intensive than it used to be. It's like 5 weeks of classroom work and driving, over 40 hours driving. And it just used to be get in a truck and take a test. And so anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to those guys. They worked hard, and one of them was telling me he didn't have a choice. All they had at the moment was a standard. He had to take his test in a standard. He'd never driven one really, and he passed it. He did a great job. He had very little experience, and these guys, and like I said, it used to be you get in like a dump truck that's not automatic and pull a big landscape trailer and get your CDL. Now he was driving a sleeper cab semi. I mean, like 53-foot trailer, and he's like, I was literally sweating bullets, and so I just thought they deserve a shout out. Beyond that, we are knee deep in leaves. Literally, we're getting there. I was out and about today a little bit. The piles are coming out, they're growing. If you notice, I think leaves are coming down, so consult the website. All the info you need's there. And Christmas lights, that's the other major project we're into at the moment. Christmas lights everywhere, mostly at Longwood Park, and I won't steal any thunder there.
Take it all, you're good.
End of report.
Taking advantage of the good weather. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Director Gelati.
Thanks, Mayor. At a recent council meeting, we awarded a contract for the Iroquois Trail storm sewer improvements. So that project was actually completed today. So the residents along that stretch of Iroquois Trail should enjoy some stormwater relief. Happy to do that for them. End of report.
Thank you. Director Chaddick.
Thank you, Mayor. As it was alluded to earlier, we had spent some time at the NRPA conference, received our gold medal finalist award. The other piece of this is going for the grand plaque, which is the best of the best, because we've already been named top 4 in the country for populations 30,000 and under. So that was awesome. We have already decided we'll apply again next year to hopefully make it to the grand plaque award this time. The grand plaque is something really big to go for, so we're looking forward to that. And we'll have more information as we conclude this year as far as the gold medal award goes. It was a really interesting experience for us because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of recreation professionals that are at this event, and they're from all over the country, and just to hear them kind of in awe of us for being an award finalist, that was pretty neat to see. Sleepy old Macedonia in there, surprising some people, so that was pretty cool. And we were the only, as far as parks and recreation agencies go, we were the only finalists in the state. So that's pretty cool to kind of hang your hat on there. And then as it was mentioned, everything's kind of going to Winterfest right now. So if you need staff, don't worry, they're preparing for Winterfest. We'll see you guys Saturday, December 2nd. We have a lot of stuff to do between now and then. So yes, you are seeing the light displays already going up. So it's pretty exciting. A lot of field maintenance going on right now. And we'll keep pushing forward with our programs. Fall programs have concluded. We have some softball still to finish up this week. And then we're off to our winter stuff and getting Manta Ray swim team going once again. We had 16 spots available for this year's Manta Rays team with 35 kids trying out. So we have maxed out, and we're doing awesome with that. Lori has done a great job building that program, so we're pretty excited to see where it goes as we enter yet another year of our USA swimming designation. So it's really exciting times for us, continued growth. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
And just to be clear, on December 14th, we're going to have a presentation for everything with the plaque and some of the staff that were a part of the Recreation Department and you know, helping to get there. So we wanted to try and plan for that. We may have some guests to come help with that, but I don't want to ruin the surprise. I'll leave it at that. It's like yes, Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
Or an equivalent. Director Veras, I'm sure you won't forget to wish someone a happy birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's true, Mayor.
3 others did, but I'm sure you won't.
I have to keep the actual year confidential, but happy birthday to Director Smith,
Thank you.
who I affectionately call Nettie.
That's my nickname.
Your nickname. Probably the only one that calls you that.
Yes.
Okay, good. I like unique nicknames, and keep yours to yourself for me.
Is that your report?
No, that's not my report. So I had a
Very
long day
loquacious today, sir.
Was invited by the Ohio Treasurer's Office to be a part of a panel at the CPM conference today. CPM stands for Center for Public Investment Management. So those of us in the government sector that manage investments have to obtain 6 hours each year of investment training. They wanted to kind of add a spin to it this year, and you know, because you can only talk about investments for so long. So they added an economic development spin to it, and the fiscal officer's role in economic development. I was part of a 5-member panel our session was titled From Then to Now, Lessons Learned. So it's always good to hear others and what they've learned from their experiences, and I shared my experiences, and it was a very beneficial day. Been a long day, but I enjoyed it, and was happy to be a part of it. End of my report.
Kind of the award-winning section over there, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't win an award, but at least you were asked to
I
speak
wasn't,
at kind of a big deal. Not trying to throw shade or anything, but Director Rodick, or Commissioner Rodick, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things to report on. Spruce Oak Crossings, In Phase 3, 17 out of the 18 lots are either built upon or under construction, so that means there's one left in Phase 3. 10 occupancies, including the model, have been issued in that phase. Phase 4 already has 3 homes under construction. And as the mayor mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Crumble Cookie and TJ Maxx are still looking to open the week of the election. I imagine they'll have a soft opening and a grand opening, but I'm certain we'll hear exactly when that's going to happen. As far as the demolitions go, the intent to demolish order from City Council went out the last week in September. I've not heard from either one of the property owners as yet, and I'm presently gathering up estimates from contractors to perform the demolition work. That's all I have.
So a lot of times we get complaints about some dilapidated homes in town, and the one off of Shepherd Road I've heard about for many, many years, but to be very clear, and maybe the law director can touch on this, it takes a lot of steps and a lot of processes to get to where we're at to take care of these problems. And those properties have fallen into complete disrepair, and we're doing the necessary steps. Being very clear, we try to work with the people that own the properties first to rectify those things, but the step we're at now is these houses are in such bad shape that we're gonna tear them down at some point, likely.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, I mean, the city really bends over backwards to give the homeowners, property owners every opportunity and then some to correct the issues, and it's just those instances where there's no or very little cooperation or progress where we take that kind of action. So after Mr. Rodick finishes his processes, there will be another piece of legislation, obviously, before council, like we discussed last time.
And I'll even take it a step further to give another example that Mr. Rodick's been working with. We had a complaint about a property that there's a lot of trash and things like that in front of the garage, and it's kind of, the grass needs some attention. Come to find out that it's a gentleman that is a little bit older, and his wife's had some health issues. So what I did was I called the principal today and asked if there's some high school students that'd be willing to go help, and she said absolutely yes, so and we're gonna go help that gentleman. So just to put it in perspective, we're not a town that's gonna go and hammer people. That's not what we're about. We want you to keep your property nice. We want everyone to be on the same page, but at the same time, if someone's in need, we're gonna try and help. And this is a perfect example of that, to where we're getting some students to do that, and I think it's amazing. So awesome, awesome stuff, and thank you for speaking with him today to get to that point. Director Smith, happy birthday.
Thank you. Yes, Mayor, the HR department is pretty busy right now with helping with the mayor's office and HR, and we are completing our virtual health fair, and we'll be doing our biometric testing, flu shots, and one other live video on breast cancer awareness tomorrow, and then the live virtual health fair will go into a recorded health fair, and people will have until the end of November to watch recorded sessions for those who could not do the live ones. And as the mayor said, we raised almost $600. We're going to continue till next Tuesday, and I think we'll exceed that number, and then we will be donating all that to the breast cancer awareness. End of report.
Thank you again for getting all you. That's awesome. That's amazing.
Lots of people. It was a village.
Yep. Chief Ripley.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start with the sovereign event of Lewistown, Maine. That's a tragic event, and I think it's important we all think of those communities when that stuff occurs. And it's something that we all exist for our residents. So my thoughts go out to their government as they attempt to deal with it, and their residents and those victims up there. So Sunday, November 5th, turn back your clocks, fall back, and when you do that, you do what, Jessica?
You change the batteries in your smoke detectors.
Very good. You should have to remind me.
Yeah.
So yes, it's also another time we know these are
Not gonna fool her.
Santa is in fact coming to Nordonia Hills again.
Yay.
He will be here December 9th in Sagamore Hills, the 12th, the 11th through the 13th in Macedonia, and in Northfield Center on the 14th, all of December. Looking forward to those events, and there'll be information on our website And all our social media outlets soon. I know the administrative staff was working on all that. And Vince, they told me the person next to me, it's their birthday. Is it your birthday?
I heard something about that, but I'm not sure who they were talking about.
Is it your birthday? Happy birthday to Director Smith in the report.
Thank you. Chief Yakupovich.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy birthday, Director.
Thank
We all
you.
had a little- We should have sang to her this morning.
Oh, my goodness.
We did. We gave her a little card, but we didn't sing. I don't think she wanted to hear Chief Ripley and I sing it.
I can't, but I didn't know that.
The police department is still continuing our hiring process with dispatchers and patrol officers. And this week, unfortunately, our SRO, John Wright, turned in a resignation. So I will be adding the search for an SRO back to that list. He has taken a job, full-time police job, again with Talmadge, the city he retired from. So, I mean, we wish him well. It's home to him. He's comfortable there. Also, yes, as mentioned earlier, trick or treat will be October 31st, 6 to 8. Trick or treat and Halloween, the mayor will tell you, trick or treat will always be Halloween night. So everybody needs to be aware of that. You know, we need people that are out driving around with their kids to go extra slow. 6 to 8 especially, you know, we've had some rainy nights on Halloween, on trick or treat, and, you know, you just gotta really be cautious. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Goodetti.
No report, sir.
Any unfinished business? Any new business?
You read this?
I wasn't planning to.
Yeah, we need to discuss it.
Or you could just say it's on our website, because it will
Or you could say it's on the website.
It will be.
It will be on the website, okay. So, the Charter Review Commission met earlier this year a number of times and passed two recommendations to council. Issue 24 will be on the ballot. It is adding alternate members to the Board of Zoning Appeals. And issue 25, which is a change to the way the Parks and Recreation Department is written in Article 13 of the city's charter. The details of those two issues, as well as the next one I'm going to read, can be found on the city's website, probably on social media tomorrow. Issue 26, it makes changes to the classified civil service with respect to administrative positions in the fire and police department. These issues will be on everybody's ballot if you live in the city of Macedonia this year. And while I can't tell you which way to vote on these issues, you can educate yourself by reading the synopsis that we'll post online tomorrow.
You can if you have more questions, you can contact anyone on council. You can contact the mayor's office. You can contact the council clerk. He can give you some information too. We're happy to help explain these issues. They're not huge, you know, city changing issues, so they should be pretty easy for us to explain to you.
And if I can add, I do want to thank the 6 members of the community that came to a number of meetings and actually had very in-depth discussions on these matters, asked a lot of great questions. We actually had at one point we had to call the law director on speakerphone and talk to him about some of these issues. I do appreciate all the community members that I think we met somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 or 8 times.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.